Mommies and Money, everyone. My name is Laura. Myself and the lovely Tanisha Steiger are your hosts. We are so excited that you are here. For those of you who this is your first time, welcome. We have available for you to watch past segments that you may have missed on YouTube. You can just go type in Mommies and Money and we'll pop right up, or you can go to the Fathers&Finances channel and we'll be under that as well. You can catch us also every Thursday at 6:30 p.m. So join us on Zoom. We would love to see you. We would love to hear from you. And again, welcome. Here at Mommies and Money, our mission is simple. We are in pursuit of excellence in the breaking of generational curses by empowering women and mothers through financial education to ensure a better future. So we here want you to win financially. We are all about financial literacy. I don't know if you can see our buttons, but we are here to preach you financial literacy. We want you guys to win, but we also want you to have fun with us, right? We want to bring you juicy topics, deep topics, interesting stuff that will move you, all while learning how to become your own money manager. So I want you all to know that this is a judgment-free zone. You can come converse with us, have conversation with us, and know you will not be judged. Your opinion matters to us. We want to hear from you. So again, next time, join our conversation on Zoom, follow us on YouTube, watch us on Facebook, Instagram, and all these other platforms, and we'll be happy to have you. So let's jump right into it. Unless Tanisha, my dear, did you have anything else?
Oh no, I completely you completely sideswiped me. It's totally fine. It's totally fine.
Sorry.
It's okay. Like, hi Facebook world. But other than that, go ahead. Start off, girl.
Also, welcome Miss Delitha McCray. Woo, woo. Our awesome mentor. We love you, and you look so beautiful.
Good evening. It's an honor to be here. I'm zooming in and zooming out, but I wanted to come check out my mommies and mommy in training.
Thank you for joining us. So let's talk about our juicy topic of today. So last week we talked about divorce, child support, alimony, and the double standards. So I want to take it a little bit further, and it's so interesting, this topic, because there's so many levels to it. So let's just say you've gone through your divorce, and at some point you get back out there and you start dating, right?
As you should.
Exactly, as you should. So my question is, when is the right time to introduce your significant other to your child? And do you expect him to support them financially? I had to be a little extra.
That's
right.
Okay.
I had to be extra.
As I'm like, now, this is one of the, ladies and gentlemen out there in the Facebook world, I don't have children. We already know that. But I don't know how I feel about this, because I feel like, first of all, I want people, if you have a divorce or you break up, that's fine, because you want to have like a new beginning. But in finding someone new, it shouldn't take like a whole bunch of pressure. But at the same time, when you have your children involved, that's a major factor, because the child is always going to, honestly, the child comes first. That's one. Two, to be able to, the timing to be able to bring that person in to meet my child, first of all, you have to already get to a level with me first before we even bring my child into it, because I don't want my child getting attached or something could happen, or it doesn't work out or something like that. But that's just my opinion.
That's interesting that you say that, because, you can kind of argue both sides. Some people would prefer that their child meet that significant other right away. Why? Because children have intuition, right? Children can sense if a person has good intentions or bad, and if that child doesn't like your significant other, what are you gonna do? Most likely not gonna last. And then you have it on the flip side, like you said, you may want to wait a while before you introduce that child to your significant other. Why? Because shoot, I need to figure out if I like you first before I let you into that relationship to build any type of relationship with my child. So I just think it's interesting. Yeah, that's an interesting one. That's kind of tough. Okay, my personal opinion. I waited when I was dating. I'm married now, but when I was dating, I was a single mother. And a lot of times that person didn't meet my child. I was not comfortable with that for reasons that you mentioned. I didn't want my child to be attached to somebody and then, something didn't work out and now he's upset. Or there's a father figure and then that relationship is torn up. Protecting him, if it wasn't serious, I'll back up. If it wasn't serious, no. If we had a relationship for like a year or something like that, then yes, my child did know who that person was. Unfortunately, as we know, those relationships didn't work out because I'm married now. But when my husband and I started back dating again, he actually met my son right away because we've already had that friendship. My husband and I knew each other since middle school. And so he's actually met him while we were still friends. And so he was kind of already familiar with him. And so when it was time to introduce him in that light as a father figure, it was pretty easy. So my question is, if we want to back all the way up, say you're on a first date. Okay. Do you tell your date you have a child?
Yes. Did I say that too fast?
No, not at all.
Sorry.
Some people may not. Again, like I said, if we use discretion, like, hey, I need to figure out if I even like you. If it's even going to be a second date, right? I don't know if I even like you enough to be like, hey, I got kids. I don't know. What do you think?
But shouldn't that be a part of the conversation for getting to know each other? Like on the first date, like, hey, what do you do? What's your favorite color? Do you have kids? What's your credit score? Stuff like that.
What's your credit score? I love that. You know what, me personally, yeah, I would. That's something that I would probably bring up. Not probably, I would bring up if I were in that situation, in those circumstances. Why? Because that's who you are. It's part of who you are, your mother.
It's already going to be tough as a single mom anyway. So you are already getting out there. And first of all, you got to think about as a single mom, one, find somebody to look out for your kid while you're on this date. Two, so you're doing prerequisites for the date. So even if you want it to go well or not go well, you might as well be honest on the date because you don't know when the second date gonna happen. Okay, like it's finding who's gonna look after my child while I'm on this date. Second of all, is my child in good hands? Because you're gonna keep that in the back of your mind while you're on the date. Third of all, you're like, okay, I'll have a certain amount of time. It's like, we're meeting at 6:30, but I gotta be back home by 9:30, 10 o'clock because I want to be able to put my child to sleep or whatever time, right? So you're already thinking about things to make sure your child's okay. So it's kind of like you should probably be very, very transparent on your first date when you have a child. Just because, that's how you'll know how they feel about it. And if they have kids or they don't have kids, how they feel about having a family. Maybe they're not ready to take that plunge. Maybe they're thinking that, oh, it's great that she's a mom. Okay, awesome. So I know she's going to be working hard. I know she wants to make sure a better future for her child, for her family. Maybe that's a good thing for him. That's a checklist that could be on him. There's so many factors that go into it. But on the mommy side, like moms go through it just to get on the date. So you really have to start thinking like, is the date going to be worth it? Because pretty much most of the moms, you're either texting or you're calling, you're talking to each other on the phone, and when you get to the date part, he should probably already know about the kid. Like you don't have to know pictures of them, but you should probably at least know about the children, right? So it gets to that date, the date that you can't waste time on because again, a mom has a certain schedule. Moms that's it. It's like, okay, well, my day starts here and it's not going to end until here. So you have this much time to tell me if this is going to work or not and just be transparent. I just feel like it's 2021. Just be transparent with each other. But yes, you will know that I have a child from just so. Everybody out there on Facebook, I don't have children. I'm just giving you guys my opinion, okay? So I don't want anybody just popping me up talking about, when did you have a kid?
And you summed that up pretty well, Tanisha, for not having. So you've been certainly observing and taking some notes. So you summed that up pretty well, almost to the T.
All right, I would have thought you had a baby, okay? You did. And you know what? You said something actually that was key that I actually didn't really think about when I asked the question. You said prior to the date, they would have known I had a kid. And so as you're getting to know this person, even before you decide to go on a date, that person should know that you have a child. I think that's great because you're right, your time is limited, or you have the other things that you have to do, other things that are on your mind. You're a mom and a single mom at that. So you're working. You got to worry about when you get home and taking care of that child, making sure they're fed, clothed, clean, getting ready for school the next day. You know what I mean? So you got a billion things on your to-do list when it comes to that child. And definitely, I agree. Mm-hmm. I definitely agree. So I had another interesting question for a first date, because I heard this actually happened. So, also, hey, Brittany. Hey, girl.
Welcome. I wanted to speak on that real quick.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
I know for mommies, of course, and of course, I'm not a mom yet either. Me and Tanisha the same boat, but, you guys work 24/7. Like, there's no off days, no off time. Now, I wouldn't say for all men, but some fathers, they're not like directly in their children's lives per se. So that might not be a thing for them. They might not feel like that's just something they have to say, on the first date, because maybe that's not always in the forefront, of their mind. But that's just for some men. But I just want to say I'm happy to be on with you ladies. You guys are looking good. I just really want to share that, maybe for a lot of the men, it's just probably not something that they would, share right away. Like, I've dated a guy who told me like later on that he had a child. I was like, oh, like that's interesting, so that's interesting, that concept in itself.
Well, even on the guy side though, even as a dad, even if you don't take that step to tell the lady that you're interested in that you have a kid just yet, but it needs to be a priority, because let's just say that you guys go on a third, fourth, what happens if things start getting good? I would like to know that who's that person in your life that lights up your world. And that's like, again, as a mom, because who lights up your world. So I just feel like it should be a two-way street. Something you should be proud of. It should be something you want to hide.
I think that's funny that y'all talked about the guys, because I was watching this movie, and in the movie, the guy did not tell his significant other that he had children. So they had already been on several dates, and it was just information that he did not disclose. And so she pops up at his house, finds out, knocking on the door, daughters answered the door. And she's like, are you married? Are you divorced? And it came out that he was a widower, but it was just interesting. And she was upset that he hadn't told her about his kids. And he said, it's just easy to compartmentalize my life. I didn't tell you because I didn't know after these 2 weeks that I was ever going to even see you again. And so I just thought that was very interesting that coming from his perspective, it was that, well, heck, I don't know if I'm ever even going to talk to you again after this. And so I didn't tell you because it just didn't matter. So I just thought that was interesting that you brought that up, Brittany.
Now, which movie was that? Was that have like Idris Elba in it, or like did it have like Gabrielle Union? Which movie is this?
No, it was actually called The Holiday. It was with Jude Law, Cameron Diaz,
was Chris Brown?
No, not this Chris.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm thinking about the black movies. I apologize. So my fault. So I was like, you said The Holiday. I was like, does it have Chris Brown in it? Okay, so you know what?
No, that's this
I'm
Chris.
sorry, I don't really.
But it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. So moving on, I was gonna ask this question because this was another story that I heard that actually happened. So these people were on a first date. The guy asked the young lady out. So they went out to whatever dinner spot. And pretty much at the end of the date, you know, he goes to pay and she's like, well, hold on a second. I have to order for my kids. And she expected him to pay. And in his mind was like, wait a minute, I'm on a date with you, not with you and your children. And so she was offended by this because he didn't want to pay for her children's food, her to-go order. So I guess in her mind, and this is just me assuming at this point, because I don't know what actually happened after that, but she didn't want to deal with him because he didn't pay for her stuff, her extra stuff. Yes, Tanisha.
One question. So did he know that she was bringing the kids onto the date?
No, the kids weren't there. She was getting a to-go order for them.
Oh, so she getting a to-go order for them. Yeah, see,
right. She was trying to
that's
add
all
that
on her.
At the end. You know, like, hold on, before you pay, let me get my kids' order in. And he's like, hold on. That's not, you know. And that goes along with the original question. Do you expect your significant other or that person that you're dating to financially support your kids as well? I personally, in that situation, think she was all the way wrong. But yes, there may be females out there that do that. I don't think it's his responsibility to pay for her child's meal when the date was between him and her. So
I wholeheartedly agree. I'm sorry.
Hey,
Oh.
Hey,
Is that Big Brother Isaac? Is that Big Brother Isaac coming through? I heard the voice. It's like Jesus.
I heard. Did you have something to add, Isaac?
What's up, ladies? How are you?
Great. How are you?
I'm good. I was wondering if y'all were going to get to that because that's been real popular on social media recently. And I just was like, man, that's absolutely crazy, especially if he didn't know that she didn't have any children. I wouldn't be opposed to it. Like after, like I might even offer, like if we've been dating for a while, I was like, hey, let me go get the children something before you leave or something like that. But if it's the first date, I don't know that you have children, and then you like, yo, hold up, I got to go get some Happy Meals or whatever you got to get for them. That would just, first of all, especially if that's the way that I'm finding out that you have children, that's going to be a big no for me. Well, again, I'm a sucker, so I probably would pay and then not call it no more. So.
Well, first of all, Isaac, I hope that like your first date will never be in a McDonald's.
I don't know what his first date was, so I'm just saying. So I mean, again, I have no idea what the first date was. So I remember it was all on social media, so I couldn't remember. But I'm gonna go back to Silent. Man, I just had to chime in there. I'm just enjoying you guys, the Mommies and Money. Thank you for making Fathers and Finance a good success the other day. I really appreciate it, and it's good seeing you queens on here.
Great having you. Man, Fathers and Finance pop-up. Nice.
I love it. I love this surprise.
Yeah,
Thank you for chiming in with us.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'm just here showing my support. Love you, ladies. Again, thank you so much for the other day. It was really lit, and we love it.
We love you too.
Love you too.
All right.
I would say honestly, there's a way you could probably go about doing that. Like, it should have been a conversation beforehand, maybe. If she's like, hey, I'm going on this date with you, but that's going to take away from me, prepare food for my children. So I feel like that should definitely have been be a discussion beforehand, or even during, like, as you're sitting there, not like right when you're about to pay. It's like, hey, I did come out on this date with you, but I had to, well, I don't know. That's a hard thing. I don't know. It depends. It's probably the way she goes about it, I feel, is how it is. The way she goes about it. More so.
It kind of reminds me of what we talked about on Tuesday, finesse. She tried to finesse that meal,
yeah. That's a strong arm. That wasn't no finesse, girl. That was a strong arm.
But Hilarious. Go ahead, Tanisha.
That's just it doesn't bother me, but there probably are a lot of women who do that, and there's probably some women who don't. I just feel like if it was me in my situation, I would definitely be okay. Thank you for the date. It was a great time. Before we leave, I'm sorry. Before we leave, I gotta order my children some food. So let me go ahead and order that, and I'll pay, and I'm paying for it because you're not the person who's going. I don't know if I'm gonna keep this going with you. I don't know if I'm gonna be on a second or third date with you. So that's just in my opinion. Now, I agree with Isaac. If it's been 6, 7, 8, 9 dates, and he already knows about the children, and it might be a little different. But the first date, and you know how guys already in their mindset think that most females go on dates just to get a free meal anyway. So now you gotta get the female the free meal, and you feeding the whole family. This is, you know what I'm saying? What does it look like? It's not a food drive. So I don't know. There's just, I don't know. I feel no, my opinion matters. I literally think that if it was the first date, I wouldn't expect the man to pay for my child's food. No.
I actually have a friend who perhaps has dated, say, her boyfriend of a year or two. She still feels like that. She's like, we're dating, but it's still not your responsibility. I got it. There are women who are self-sufficient that way and don't necessarily say or depend on that guy in her life to support that. I mean, my opinion, if he offers, absolutely, I'll accept, and I appreciate you. I thank you. But it will be known that, hey, you don't have to do it, and that's just the kind of person that I am. So, yeah. Okay.
No, I said, yeah, I agree. I mean, I get it. And that's perfectly fine. I think that's the issue. Most people are like, nah, he should be paying for this. And then some guys I don't think I should be doing that because I'm just getting to know you. So it's this is a conversation. Again, the first date that's the initial meeting. That's okay.
Right.
Let's do it. Let's think of it like this. You're about to buy a house, right? You're talking to the realtor, and you're letting the realtor know, well, I love this house. This house, I can see myself doing all this stuff. And I mean, I want to do it right now within the first hour. And they're like, well, you haven't walked inside the house yet. You know what I'm saying? So why would you sit there and be like, yeah, I have a kid. You should pay for him.
That's crazy.
That's your responsibility.
Right.
So
okay, so say if you guys have been dating for a while and you guys decide to get engaged, perhaps, at that point, does that person start taking over financial responsibility? What if the child's father isn't in their life? You know what I mean? I mean, I guess obviously these are questions for a man, but we're having this conversation from a female standpoint. Do you expect your fiance or the person that you've been dating for a few years to step in?
I don't know about that, Laura.
After a while, he would.
It's interesting.
It seems like after a while, he would naturally want to as a man, because men kind of want to provide. Even though some are like, I'm okay, I got it. Sometimes men naturally want to do that. But it just seems like if he was like a man, naturally he wanted I got that. Or let me help you out a little bit, If he doesn't ever offer I don't know. It just seemed it would be a little weird, I would say.
It would be. I agree with that. I would think that at some point that bond with the child will have formed. And there may be that father-son, father-daughter, relationship forming to where, like you said, Brittany, that he'll kind of naturally want to do that. And I would feel kind of weird, and I would question if this is somebody that I want to spend the rest of my life with. If he didn't offer, that's just me. But at the same time, I'm a communicator. I would have expressed and articulated my expectations of him. At a certain point, you have to let this person know. And oh, hi, Michelle, welcome. well, I can't see your beautiful face, but I'm so glad that you're with us tonight. So thank you for joining us, and we'd love to see you or hear from you. You can unmute your line and chime in whenever you like, okay?
Hi, Michelle.
Okay, she can. But yes, again, to agree with Brittany, it would be a little weird if...
I'm having technical difficulties, but hello.
Hello. Good to see you. Good to hear from you. What if the child's father is in their life? Do you still have expectations for your now spouse or fiance, boyfriend? Because some, if they're good men, yeah, they're gonna automatically like, hey, I got this, I'll help you out. Or, I mean, what if the father is heavily involved and they're pretty much either paying their child support or, you know, you have some type of verbal agreement where he's giving you money monthly or weekly or whatever the case may be?
There's good things, there's good and bad for that. So like, you know, there's a yin and yang to everything. There's a lot of fathers out there that are very present in their children's lives and make sure that their child that they brought into, they help bring into this world, definitely has, you know, the needs that he needs or the needs that they need to have. Now there's some fathers that may not. Again, these are like, if you're dating and you're on good terms with the ex or with the ex, right? And let's just say like he should automatically know because he's going to date. So if he knows that he's going to date, it's not going to be a conversation about like, hey, you know, I know we broke up, you know, we have we haven't dated in like 3-4 years, but I'm about to date this new guy and I think he's great, but how do you feel about, like, it needs to be like, of course, an open conversation, because whoever you bring in, they're going to be able to accept this gentleman as well. So I would say it's probably like a future Sierra Russell Wilson type situation.
I love them. I think
Future has his life, but he takes care of his son. But his son is also living with Sierra and Russell Wilson. They have a family as well. So Russell is still being a great stepfather to his stepson and his children, as well as making sure that he keeps his wife happy. But at the same time, I don't think he holds any type of grudges towards Future, because at this point in time has passed. We realize I'm married this woman, so I'm serious about her. So it's a lot of key factors when you say it like that. And we have to always keep that open, because I know in our community that some women are very quick to be angry, or some women are very like, what's the word I'm trying to look for? It's not like super petty.
Vindictive, yes.
Vindictive, yes. And so
right, Isaac. Russell Wilson is a grown man.
It's true, and it also depends on the mindset. Like, are you comfortable enough to make sure that that when you're if you're dating a guy, you're dating him for a while, and you're ready to introduce him to your children, does he know that you might have to introduce him to the father of your child too? And that's a very important conversation you need to have as well.
I agree, and it goes along with what Isaac said, that Russell Wilson is a grown man, and it has a lot to do with maturity. Mm-hmm. And both parties, in my opinion, like you mentioned, some women can be petty and use their children against the father. Both parties should be mature and have that open communication, especially when both parents are involved with their child's life. The child wins. You know what I mean? And that's what ultimately matters.
And when it comes back down to like what you just said, I'm going to piggyback on what you just said. Like, it comes back to what the child needs. That's what I think that we have a problem with in our community. We forget about the child. Like, we're so trying to get back with each other and go back and forth, and who's more petty, or who could do it up better, or who could live their best life without, making sure. First of all, you could keep making your mistakes, but the one thing that we brought into this world, it's not his fault. It's not her fault. That child needs to have every opportunity to be 500% better than me and you combined. So
Absolutely.
regardless of whatever situation, you want them to see, if you guys aren't going to be together, you want them to see a good, you want them to see a good relationship between the father and the mother, regardless if they date or not, or regardless if they get remarried, because that child is growing up and looking at that.
Absolutely.
Right?
That example that you want to set for your kids. You want to set a great example.
Perception is everything.
Absolutely.
Perception
and your
everything.
child, they soak up everything. They see what you're doing. And I asked Aaron, it's funny that we actually kind of segue into this a little bit. I asked Aaron earlier today, I said, when you see me, what kind of example do you see me setting for you? He goes, you're hardworking. And I said, what do you see me working with? He goes, finances. I said, good son, good, because that's exactly what I want you to see. I want you to see that we work. I want you to see that we're trying to build up financially so that we can set you up financially. So
right.
that just actually warmed my heart. I almost shed a tear on that one.
Hey, Michelle. Hey, Michelle, with the cute hat. Okay.
Yes, like those glasses. Yes, honey. Yes.
Yes.
But
difficulties. But hey, ladies.
All right.
Michelle, you're a mommy too?
Girl, yes. And a grandmother of 5.
And a grandma.
Of 5? Wait a minute.
Yes,
when did that happen?
No, time out. Let's wait 5 seconds. Let's go back. Rewind, pause the tape, bring back the VHS. Let's go back. You're a grandmother. Do you know what? You don't look grandmother. Like, you don't look nothing like. I'm sitting here thinking like, oh, we just had the same birthday like 3 weeks ago. Like, I'm like, you look. Oh my gosh, you look so beautiful. Yes, everyone out there, this is what it's supposed to look like. Okay.
New millennial grandmas right here.
Right.
I'm knocking on the door next month. April. Yeah, I'll be 50.
And looking fine at 50, everybody. Okay, looking fine at 50. Okay.
Welcome to the club, sis.
Yes, thank you.
Absolutely.
So, and it's interesting, and I know I came in on the tail end, but I'm kind of piggybacking. I'm sorry, off of kind of what Tanisha and Laura was saying about the child winning. I have 3 kids. 2 of them are boys, and they have children by, women. And I've had conversations with the moms where they were petty, like Laura was saying. And sometimes both sides lose sight of the child winning, right? We got to one-up each other. Mm-hmm. You got to prove to the child, like, I'm the better parent, but the child is not winning in that instance. You know what I'm saying? And I remember I was with my childhood sweetheart. We was together forever, right? And while we were together, he was in the home. He was there and he was doing the daddy thing, right? But when he left, he became a whole nother man that I didn't know nothing about. So I had to renew my mind and how I approach things. So what ended up happening, I was the parent that made sure every day I didn't even pick up the phone. I would pick up the phone, dial the number, and hand it to the kids. I would pick up the phone, dial the number, and hand it to the kids. And on the flip side, looking, you'd be like, well, why are you doing all that? He ain't reaching out to them. I ain't gonna be chasing them down. But the child won. You understand what I'm saying? What ended up happening, now they can pick up the phone on their own without me even being a part of it. So sometimes we have to bring ourselves out of the equation so that the child can win. So I just was piggybacking off of what you guys were talking about. So
that's beautiful.
That's awesome. I love that.
That's beautiful.
And you know what, that actually segues into my next thought and question. When you talk about when you split up from that person and they became a whole other person, kind of in a sense absent, like, as a woman, do you still chase after that person for that support? And in my opinion, and I know it's not very popular, but this is just how I am. My opinion is I'm not chasing you. I'm not going to chase you for something that you know you should be doing. And again, and like Michelle said, I am going to do everything in my power to make sure my child wins. But I'm not going to chase you for your responsibilities. It's your responsibility. I wholeheartedly believe in sowing and reaping, whatever you want to call it. What goes around comes around, karma. My thing is, if you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, it's going to come back to you. God is going to get you, and I'm going to let him. And it ain't going to have nothing to do with me. And so I'm not, what'd you say?
Can I just?
Yes, you should. Go ahead.
I used to feel that way until I saw my child not winning, right? I used to feel that way because at the end of the day, equally, our children love their parents. Your child is going to love mom. Your child is going to love dad. Now, I'm not talking about the ones who have not developed. I'm talking about if you separated, right? Equally, right. They're going to love parents. When I felt that way, that was my ego being bruised because I saw my child being bruised. So that was my retaliation. So when I start turning the table, and he didn't even know I was turning the table, by making sure that they stay connected, it turned the whole dynamics. I was the person, hey, you know what, here. Hey, you know what, here. And it was all the time. But I knew that it was important. So I had to get me out of the way, me being bruised, me being hurt, me being wounded. I done gave this man all my life. I done gave him my time. I done gave him my privates. I done gave him everything. So I was bruised in the process too. So I had to heal first myself so that I can get out the way so the healing can happen with the relationship. And when the healing happened with the relationship, now, after you done did all that you can, right? You know, we speak in scriptures. After you done did all that you can, then therefore, you know what I'm saying? Then, all right, yeah, because at the end of the day, just like when we grew up, we got to a certain age, we understood certain things. My daughter got to a certain age, understood certain things. I didn't have to say anything, but they still have that same relationship today. She can pick up that phone and she can call her father, but it first started with me initiating and doing more than what I should have, because he should have been there. He should have been, making sure that he'd been at her different functions she had, and he wasn't. But you didn't hear nothing negative come out of my mouth. Nothing negative. You understand what I'm saying? And she developed some of my thought processes. She understood it, but they still have a relationship that's like this. So sometimes we have to be careful. And I'm not saying with that, oh, if they ain't, then I ain't. Because really, what is that? What is that? We have to ask ourselves, like, really, what does that mean? That's really a defense mechanism, because we doing everything that we can as parents, as mothers, single parents, because now I got some brothers that's some single parents and the moms are not. We doing everything that we can, and we don't want to see our children hurt, but we got to make sure that they win.
Right. I wholeheartedly agree.
I hear you. I see what you're saying. And I definitely understand what you're saying, where you're coming from. I still, and you know what? I can be honest with myself. I'm not coming from a place of being hurt. I'm coming from a place of, at some point, responsibility. And when like you said, when you've done all you could do, when you've left that door open and that person won't walk through it, you know what I mean? That's just kind of where I am with it, and me personally, my son, he has a relationship with dad. I'll say that. He has a relationship with dad. And so I consider my son winning. And that's just me personally. But like you said, no, there are people out there that are experiencing what both of us have gone through, in a sense. And I agree. And then I also still feel like at some point you got to be responsible. You have to be responsible.
Now the kicker is for the person who has no children. I just keep coming up with all my statements as if I see. This is how I know I like, you know, saying this is like the Black version of The View. Okay, so like,
it's so funny
because I honestly, and like Michelle said, my brother and we don't have the same father, right? So looking back now and realizing what my dad did for me and my brother, I look at my father as Superman, right? Like dad can't do no wrong. But my mother made sure she did not, like what Michelle said, she did not badmouth my brother's father. Knowing how my brother's father was, she didn't badmouth him. She tried to make sure that he would, hey, do you want to see your son? Do you want to visit him? Do you want him to visit you? She gave him all the opportunities in the world. She even, when Verdell got up to a certain age, she made sure that he was starting to get involved. Like, do you want to sit there and speak to your father? Do you want to like be able to know who he is? Do you want to know where he lives? Everything else. And what my mom did was make sure that my brother had the decision. Not like it wasn't just her and his father. It was my brother's decision. So I think that also kind of messed my brother up in a little bit, because my brother saw a person who was taking care of his mother and his sister, but he didn't know why his dad wouldn't do the same for him. So, but like I was telling my brother, you gotta look at the good and bad. See, the good is our mother made sure that she never spoke ill of your father. So you never heard any negative stories. You never heard anything that grandma and whoever said anything about, never at all. Like I'm your sister and I had no idea like what this man has done to you. I just know he wasn't in your life the way you wanted him to be. But at the same time though, I do know that, like what Michelle said, keeping that communication, just being there makes a difference. That makes a big difference. And that's something that I guess that's what I saw. So if I had if myself is in that situation, I would do the same thing. I would, if me and you made a beautiful child. Like I said, it's not the child's fault. The child's only job is to win. That's the only thing. You make sure you set that child up for nothing but success. I don't care if you don't want to be the child's life, cool, all right. But I will never sit there and badmouth you to the child, because that's not going to be a part of the situation. Because I want to make sure that my child's going to be like, well, you know, things happen. Mom and dad just didn't feel right. Okay. But mom made sure that everything was straight. Dad made sure I was okay. Like I had everything I needed to have. I had love. I had nothing but like great family around me, my friends, everything, all positivity around me. Some people, we have these certain things that's going on in the Black community where we want to sit there and start retaliating. Like we want to sit there and want to start being petty. We want to start putting your dirty laundry on every social media page. And that's something we have to stop, because it's not you anymore. That's the thing. Right. That's what makes me upset. It's not you. Stop thinking it's you. You guys brought a human being into this world. That human being, like I sat there and said before, should have every opportunity in the world to be greater and be whoever the hell they want to be, and still know that both sides love them no matter what.
And I think what a key thing to piggyback off of you and Michelle,
that's all I have to say about that.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. To piggyback off of you and Michelle, you guys mentioned the child having the choice and seeing for themselves. Me personally, I've never been that petty person to badmouth. I will never be that person. And it will be, you know, if that time ever came, you know, for him, if he starts asking questions or wants to know more, I will never withhold or keep information or anything like that, because I want him and I consider him winning. I consider him loved. I consider him taken care of. I consider him, again, winning. And so to just kind of put that stamp on it, I really agree with, you know, the child having that choice or letting that child see for themselves in a sense, but never bad mouthing or talking negatively about that other person. Because again, we don't want to be petty. We want to get past that. We're adults. We want to be mature. We want to have open communication. You can't do that when somebody is sour.
Right. Sour. The sourness only makes sour lemonade. You can't have lemonade without no sugar. So, you know, just throwing it out there.
Well, you can have lemon water. I mean, or anyway.
Okay, see, you would. Okay, whatever. Scratch my point out there, Facebook Live. Okay. Laura said, you can have lemon water. Like it's like,
and it cleanses your system, just saying, you know. I had a point. Let me think about it. It was something I was gonna say, but I can't remember my thought at this very moment. You guys froze. Can y'all see me?
I'm still here.
Y'all have been freezing this entire time.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. On your end, right?
Sorry. I guess it is on my end, but y'all are not frozen at this very moment, which is great. Okay.
Well, it's okay. Everyone out there, Laura has faulty Wi-Fi, so she's stealing.
You know what?
Her neighbors are big producers, and she's just stealing all her Wi-Fi from her neighbors. So
don't be giving away my secrets.
Okay,
I'm just kidding.
Just let you know that's another way to, you know, save $1, save $1 if we need to.
Don't do that.
I'm being silly.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Okay, that's huh?
Just kidding.
Just kidding. Okay, so we covered a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about communication. We talked about, and the communication is a big thing with me. I'm a communicator. I guess that's the Aquarius in me. I want to make sure you understand my intentions. I want to make sure I articulate what I mean, and that be the end of it. And I definitely think, in my personal opinion, that there's no right or wrong answer to the major question that we asked. When do you introduce your significant other to your children? I think at any time. I mean, but definitely while you're dating, while you're still talking, you want to mention your children because they are a huge part of you. They're a huge part of your life. And for those women who perhaps look for that man to financially support their children, we have alternatives to that. We talk about our child winning, and there are several different ways that your children can win financially with some of the awesome tools that we offer here on this platform. Tanisha, do you want to tell everyone about some of our awesome platform tools?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I was gonna I know if I had known, I'll have brought up the video, but
I know, right? I didn't even think about the video.
I would have brought the video, but I could probably still do it. So ladies and gentlemen, I know there's gentlemen that's on. There is something called a child grow up plan. Okay. We actually suggest it to all the mommies because mostly every mom wants to make sure their child is taken care of, right? And has a better future for themselves and learn how to be able to, start knowing that they actually have money that's out there, but they want to make sure they keep growing their money too. So when it comes to this child grow up plan, all it is literally a plan that holds nothing but growth potential for the child, has safety. So their growth potential is going to go into a multiple index account, right? They have safety, so they don't ever lose any money. With the money that you're putting in, they will never lose it. And then they have a tax advantage, so the money is actually growing tax deferred. And if at one point in time they want to access their money, like when they get 35, they want to buy a first house, they want to buy a car, they want to get married, they could be able to take or withdraw that money tax-free. If they need a loan, they can sit there and do a tax-free loan. And then of course you have the death benefit, but that's just more the protection piece. See, the protection piece is the plus to this whole investment vehicle that you have for this child. Just to make sure that, you know, your child, if anything, in case of anything happens, because we, like everyone knows, we're not promised tomorrow. But at the same time, though, this is just one of those investment vehicles that, you know, when you're putting money away for your child, for your grandbabies, whatever it is, this is where you sit there and see your money actually grow. This is how you actually save your money and literally protect your money, and you're growing your money. Like you're growing compoundedly up to at least 15%. You never know what's going to happen. That's amazing. See, the thing about we're all out, like most people are thinking like put it into a savings account, a 529. You got to know the differences between certain things. And what we bring here is just, you know, we offer like those people who want to know more about the tax advantages accounts. Please feel free. We'll definitely be able to help you out there. But the child grow up plan is for a way for you to sit there and you put $100 away every month for the next 18 years of their life. You have your child's already net worth. One is already whatever the face value is. Let's just say for $100,000 or whatever. But like now they have a net worth by the time they're 25. You get them, like that's a difference. No one's sitting there saying like, oh, my child's 18, like they only have like $28 in their bank account. I'd rather say that my child is 18 and my child is worth over $1 million or $500,000. And so they're like, wait, what? You know, you don't really tell everybody your business out there, but you want to make sure that as a parent or as a grandparent that you know that you're like, wait, I can put my money into an account that's going to grow for me tax deferred. So it's going to grow compoundedly for the next 18 years with not just 1-2% simple interest, but with like, you know, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, up to 15%. And let's just say the market's doing hella great that year. Woo! Let's just say it's doing great for like the next 10 years. That's amazing. So now your child's sitting there, your money that you're putting in and making sure that their future is secure. I think that's like that's a plus side for all of us, right? And the thing about it is like most moms, they are like, you know, I'll put my money into like a mutual fund. Well, most parents don't know that mutual funds in a tax now account. And tax now accounts, you will be taxed, like, I mean, it's a 1099 INT that gets sent to your house. So the interest that grows on that money, you'll be paying taxes on it that year. So that's not fair for you. And how is your money even growing as fast as you want it to grow? While we in the Black community are not looking into tax advantage accounts this way we should be, because that's actually where we can sit there and grow our money. And then for not just to grow our money and keep it safe, but this is how you sit there and you become those Black trust fund babies that you want to actually have. These are how you sit there, you set that up. This is how, you know, whatever you have for yourself as a mom, do you have a plan that's working for you where you do have that growth potential, where you do have that safety and you have that tax advantage? And then on top of that, while you're sitting here and you're growing, and then on top of that, the money that is actually compounding interest in that account, in that investment vehicle. So if something were to happen to you, like one, let's just say, like, you know, you break down in the middle, like you're a mom, you have your own business, you're doing great things, but you break down halfway in the middle and you're like, I don't want to be a burden onto my children. Well, this investment vehicle also has living benefits inside. So if something will happen, you can still take care of your business. You can still take care of, if you need to sit there and get a nurse, you don't know how the money's going to sit there and function. This is how everything works out, because you can literally be able to help this account, like not this account, but this investment vehicle is actually a plus, because you can actually take care of your business still while it's actually servicing you for life. So it's a couple of things we have to start thinking about in different ways, just different outlooks. Some things are meant for you, some things are not being told to you every day. And do not walk up into a bank and ask them about this investment vehicle. They'll be like, oh yeah, 401k. Oh yeah, 403b. Oh my God, you're talking about the 529.
Yeah, savings account.
No. Oh, right. The SEP RA. Okay, yeah, we have one of those. No. Stop it. Okay, don't go to a bank. If you need anything, just ask me and Laura or Brittany if you see this out there on Facebook world. however you want us to help you out, we'll help you out. It's not a problem. And we'll definitely get you where you want to be at, you and your child.
Absolutely. And it's not just for mommies and children. I mean, this is for the whole family. I just want to throw that out there too. I mean, like Tanisha spoke about the Black community, we need to get the word out. We need to let people know about tax advantage accounts. And we are definitely here to bring awareness that this is a tool that we need to utilize. And not only is it a tool that we have access to, but there are workshops available that we can link you up to. And the greatest thing about these workshops is that they are free. Free workshops, Monday through
Black
Saturday.
Folks. I ain't saying
you
that.
are a mess.
I am.
Rotation. I mean, get with us. We will definitely show you how you can get registered. We can show you how to take advantage of this tax advantage account. And so we have these conversations. I mean, we choose these topics. I mean, because there's things that people are not talking about, but we always bring it back to the financial solutions. We want you to have financial solutions out of this cycle of usury, so to speak. You using somebody else to get what you want. How about you build it for yourself? You know what I'm saying? So that is what we are here to do. We want you to win. We want you to have that trust fund baby. And we want you to be set up to, you know, not just for you and your family, but your whole family, even your parents. You know what I mean? I'm trying to get my mama put on, okay? So that is what we're here for. So my call to action for you tonight, for all of you watching on our social media platforms, reach out to us. We are here to help you. We are here to get you set up. We want you to learn this information. We want to get it to you, and we want to help you. So again, if you are on Facebook, drop a comment in the chat. Obviously here on Zoom, drop a comment in the chat. We will reach out to you. We want to hear from you. And again, if y'all have any other topics of discussion, let us know, and we will gladly talk about it. That's what we're here for. Again, no judgment zone. We are here to talk about facts. We're going to have a little fun with you, and we want to get you set up financially. Tanisha just dropped the link in is that the survey link?
Yes, that's the survey link, just to be able to help out. If everybody ever needs help, I'm here. We're here for you guys. So sometimes you want to be discreet about what your needs are. That's perfectly fine. So we're here for. I can give you a call.
Give us a call. So as we wrap up, we like to give a little. Actually, before we wrap up completely, did anybody have any final questions, concerns, comments? Shout outs?
Oh, I do. I'll have a quick shout out. One, high five Mommies&Money. Woo! Two, I want to give a shout out to all the hardworking mothers out there. I know a lot of them, from California to Ethiopia. Like, it doesn't matter. The one job, I lost my mom 2 years ago. Well, going on 2 years ago. And it still feels like I have a part of my soul missing. So I tell people, when it comes down to your mother is going to be the one person who knows every little thing about you. When you think you don't know, they know. Okay, they know. It's like a feeling we have. It's like undeniable. So shout out to all the moms out there that are, if you're single or not, and you're just doing it because you want to build a better future for your family. That's amazing, and more power to you, and much respect and much love. All you queens deserve nothing but the greatest. And I also want to give a quick shout out to Fathers&Finances, because they they're also doing some big things. I have a lot of kings on that panel, and next week, if anybody wants to sit there and follow up on them, their discussion will be on taxes. If you want to know any financial myths and some realities, that's probably a good one you want to sit in on. So next Tuesday at 6:30, I will definitely put that on my Facebook. Laura will do the same thing, have everybody register. It's going to be a great topic of discussion. Next month, the month of March, is Women's History Month. So yes, Facebook Live. I will continue to keep doing Black History Month, but it'll be all women next month. So,
Awesome. Speaking of Black history and women's history, this is our fun fact Black history style, and the spotlight goes to
Sarah Boone.
Sarah Boone. This powerful young lady, powerful queen, was an African American dressmaker who made her name by inventing the modern day ironing board. In her patent application, she wrote that the purpose of her invention was to produce a cheap, simple, convenient, and highly effective device, particularly adapted to be used in ironing the sleeves and bodies of ladies' garments. With its approval in 1892, Boone became one of the first African American women to be awarded a patent. So basically, back in the day, dressmakers were primarily ironing their clothes on a wooden plank placed across two chairs, a method that was fine for a wide skirt, but ill-suited for the contours of tight-fitted material. So Boone's solution was to create a narrow, curved board that could slip into sleeves and allow for the garment to be shifted without getting wrinkled. Her creation also was padded to eliminate the impressions produced by a wooden board and collapsible for easy storage. Demonstrating the writing skills she had acquired only just a few years earlier, Boone applied for her patent and for the new improved ironing board in 1891. She was awarded her patent on April 26, 1892, making her one of the first African-American women to earn that formal distinction for inventors. So the ironing board that you use today was because of her. Thank you, Miss Sarah Boone.
Appreciate you. For everybody out there who wants a good crease in their pants. Okay. A good crease to like have that starch out, and they over here just put some work into the ironing board. Miss Sarah Boone did that for you brothers out there, okay?
She did that. So just a little fun Black history fact for you guys to close us out. Thank you, ladies, for jumping on. Thank you guys for jumping on and watching Facebook Live, YouTube Live. Subscribe to us. We love you guys. We thank you guys so much for this platform and opportunity to share our love and our knowledge. So again, have a great night. We want to see you back next Thursday, 6:30.
6:30, we'll be here.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you, Michelle, for being on. I look forward to speaking to you later. I'm a grandma, but look like you're like about to graduate high school. I don't understand.
Y'all didn't know that's my big sister.
Yes. Oh, she did good. Like, I don't know what kind of water y'all drinking over there.